Hello everybody and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. In this one we're going to be going over Magneto. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. Magneto's primary fire is called Iron Volley. Fire a volley of magnetic orbs forward. The range of the resulting explosion increased based on distance flown. So, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He shoots like a chunk of metal and after a while it explodes, so it doesn't have as much range as some people might think. And depending on how far it goes, the bigger the little explosion is. As you can see when you're about full range, the explosion's quite large. Hitting someone directly obviously does more damage, but if you're not the best at aiming and you're at the proper distance, you can still do that little bit of tick damage. However, the closer you get, the smaller it gets. As you can see, when you're practically point blank, that explosion is pitiful, and it gets slowly larger the farther back you get. Magneto does have a passive ability called Magnetic Descent, where you can hold the jump button to fall slowly. Now, I don't see this being a core thing of his kit, it's just a little bonus that he can do. The only use case I can think of for this passive ability would just be if Jeff shot you off the edge, you can have a chance of coming back. So just keep that in mind. If you ever need to hover in the air for slightly longer, you can do that as Magneto. Magneto's alternate fire is called Mag Cannon. He converts the iron rings on Magneto's back into a mag cannon and launches a metallic mass forward. Higher stacks of rings increase damage and full stacks knock back enemies. So this is a mechanic that we'll get into a little bit later, but for the ability itself, all you really need to know is you press the button, he charges up for a second, and he shoots it out. You know what level his ring is at by two things. One, you can see it on his back. You can see it has 3 forms as it upgrades. The other indicator is right underneath the crosshair. You see he has these 3 little pointing up arrows, and that also shows you what charge his mag cannon is at. Like the ability says, once it's fully charged, it will do a decent amount of damage and knock the enemy back. If you only have 1 charge, it does a pretty small amount of damage, and if you have 2, it does a little bit more. So obviously, to get the most out of it, you're going to be wanting to hit him with the full charges. That's where his next 2 abilities come from. I'm going to go over these next 2 abilities at the same time because they're pretty much the same thing. Metal Bulwark and Iron Bulwark. We're first going to go over Iron Bulwark. Conjures an iron shield around himself. Damage taken will be transformed into ring on Magneto's back. Metal Bulwark is the exact same thing, except it is on allies. So if you use Mag Cannon and then use Iron Bulwark, you can see that once the shield is gone, the charges meter goes up. The more damage you take, the more percentage you will gain back. Metal Bulwark works the exact same way, except it is on an ally. Note that they are on the exact same cooldown, so if you use one, you will not be able to use the other until the cooldown is up. So since it's a shield, a lot of people actually think it's got a health gate to it, but it actually makes you immune to all damage until the bubble is gone. So if you time it right, you can actually shield yourself or allies from ultimates. Speaking of shields, Magneto's shift ability is called Metallic Curtain. Change the metallic field around to form a metallic curtain blocking all incoming projectiles. This one is actually a pretty small shield that he can put in front of himself or allies that lasts a little bit of time that can block all projectiles incoming for a certain amount of time. Note that this thing drains extremely quickly, so you gotta time it properly, but like the ability says, it will block all projectiles. You can see to the right of the cursor its charge, and you can also see that it drains quite quickly without taking any damage. Magneto's ultimate ability is called Meteor M. Draw all materials around to forge an iron meteor that deals massive damage upon impact. Absorbing enemy projectiles can enhance the meteor's power, yet overloading it will cause it to self-destruct. This ability, I feel like a lot of people underestimate purely because they don't know how to use it fully yet, because when it's not charged, it does an underwhelming amount of damage. It's kind of hard to show off in the practice range, but as you can see, when you go into that ultimate state, there's a little indicator where the mag cannon indicator used to be. That can charge up to 100%. If it goes over 100%, the meteor will get overloaded and cancel his ultimate without throwing it. But the closer it is to 100%, the more damage the meteor will do. So it's kind of a risk versus reward. Do you want to throw it and do a little bit of damage? Or do you want to take some damage, risk overloading it, and doing a butt ton?
Here they are now.
Magneto has one team-up ability with his daughter, the Scarlet Witch, called Metallic Chaos. Scarlet Witch can infuse chaos energy into Magneto to enhance his greatsword. Upon receiving the chaos energy, Magneto can unleash its full force, striking down enemies with his enhanced greatsword. Scarlet Witch doesn't need to do anything except be on your team for this to activate. And you can see that you got a new ability. On PC, it is C. Pressing it will enhance his basic attack to be a greatsword that shoots chaos energy. This is actually a pretty sizable buff in his attack speed and damage, and actually makes him feel quite powerful.
As I expected.
And that is everything you need to know about Magneto. Have you guys been able to play as Magneto in Marvel Rivals? What do you think of him? What do you think of the game? Let me know down in the comments below. And make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, because I'm planning on putting out more character guides as the days goes on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.